Hey, what's up guys? It's your boy Tim Apple. Today we're going for a ride. I'm gonna tell you about my journey with the Galaxy S10, so strap in boys, we're going for a ride. It has been a rough 9 days. Like, let me tell you, you would not believe. Okay, I'm exaggerating. It was actually perfectly livable. Like, the Galaxy S10 was an amazing phone. I absolutely loved it. And I want to clear the air here. Like, I've seen a lot of comments saying, oh, you're paid by Samsung to say this. Like, without any doubts, I want you guys to know I'm not paid by Samsung. They did not even give me a review unit. I purchased all of these by myself with my money. So like, this opinion is mine. Nobody's paying for it, just so you guys know. You know, I'm gonna tell you about my 9 days with the Galaxy S10 and ultimately why I'm switching back to the iPhone. Like, there is no hate at all towards Samsung. There's no hate towards Android. I'm gonna tell you what I liked about this phone in the 9 days that I used it. Extensive usage. I did drop tests, I did speed tests, I did camera tests, and I used this thing as my personal device for 9 days. So I can give you a well-rounded and an opinionated look at the Galaxy S10 from my eyes. Okay, so we're gonna start with what I liked about this phone. Then we're gonna get into the murky stuff, you know? But first off, like, without a doubt is the design. This thing has an ultimately, I think, like, technically superior design. The screen is literally like a sticker. This thing is so ridiculously high tech. Like, it seems like they reserved the top end AMOLED displays, the Super AMOLED, for themselves and then gave Apple, you know, an afterthought for their iPhone XS Max display. By no means is this bad, it's just so much better here. I'm able to use this phone in direct sunlight, where before on the iPhone XS Max I couldn't. And that moves on to my next point, which is colors. I love the color selection on the Galaxy. They have such a diverse, wide color. You know, this white pearl even is unique. When you shimmer it in the light, they definitely got the glimmer light. Like, the attention to detail is certainly there. Samsung's finally paying attention to some of the stuff that, you know, everyone else really likes, and they've killed it with the colors on the Galaxy. I love it. We're not supposed to have this one in America. This is the Exynos version. I've been using it on Verizon, no problem. Just so you guys know, this is not an American color, at least I think. I love the USB-C connector. Without a doubt, this needs to happen on the iPhone stat. I hate having to have a separate lightning connector just to plug an iPhone in. This needs to be standard as soon as possible. Fast charging is without a doubt one of the coolest things about this phone. First off, the battery life. Let's backtrack a little bit. The battery life, I don't know how they did it, but this has the best battery life. It is better than my iPhone with a smart battery case. My XS Max with a smart battery case does not last as long as the Galaxy S10. Literally no problems, full day, literally 2 days of usage out of this one phone. I don't know how they did it, but it is so efficient and I love it. Wireless power share, I didn't use this feature in my day-to-day. There was never a need or a struggle for battery life, but I definitely recognize the situation where you're stuck in the middle of nowhere. Your friend has some battery percentage. They look over, they look at your battery percentage. Hey, you got more than me. Share some of that, brother. Share the love. So you tap phones and you share the love. And the battery sharing feature, wireless reverse charging, is amazing, and you're gonna love it on the Galaxy Buds. Like, the Galaxy Buds in the setup menu, how they copied the AirPods, definitely a lot of improvement there. I loved that from Samsung. So they've got that right. They've got the AirPods competitor stuff right. So you're not missing out on anything by going to Galaxy on the AirPods connectivity side. Like, that's great. The sound quality is even better than AirPods in my review. I loved the customizability of software. You know, like, I've been using this thing for a considerable amount of time. I've tweaked it with gestures and stuff to where it's relatively similar to an iPhone. And just so you know, that's my measure here. I'm comparing this thing to an iPhone because that's mostly all I know. My last phone was an HTC Incredible. So you guys know there's been quite a time jump here. But even so, I loved the animations. I shortened the animations to 0.5. Like, I love how fast you can jump in everything. Still feels fairly fluid. Like, they've got that relatively down. What I missed though, and this is like ultimately the biggest reason why I'm going back to iPhone, is just how refined, just how fluid it is. I personally think there's no match yet. Like, Samsung is very close and they just need a little bit more refinement, but ultimately the feeling of what makes an iPhone is not there. Like, that smoothness, the animations I think are more refined. And I've tried them all on the Samsung. I've tried no animations, I've tried shortened animations, I've tried original animations. I don't like it. Like, I think the iPhone does the fluidity part a lot better. And there's so much research and development that's gone into making that type of interface. So Apple certainly has that down. Samsung, you're not far behind, but you certainly need to work on that. Like, that's what got me back to the iPhone, mostly. The logical things, like the basic things like storage. You're able to access your file system. You're able to easily transfer files from the computer to this. I transferred my photos collection, like 40 gigabytes, within a few minutes. On the iPhone, I have to go through iTunes. Just all around, it's logical. Like, it makes sense where it counts. The SD card, you can upgrade this thing to 1.5 terabytes of storage. There's a new card that's 1 terabyte now, so could it work with 2? We'll see. I don't know why you'd ever need that much storage, but it's certainly there. I didn't really care much for the camera quality on the back in my test. I don't know why, but the front camera, solid thumbs up. Like, it shows Apple what needs to be done. This thing is a great camera, great wide angle, great low light. I loved the front facing camera. This is my favorite feature of the S10, I love the ultra wide camera. You are able to get shots that you otherwise would never be able to. You're able to stand in the same area that you would with an iPhone and take a magnificent picture that seems like you're way further away. And I demonstrated that in my camera test, just that feature that makes the S10 for me. So I love the third lens. Like, I hope Apple does something similar with the iPhone 11. The weirdest thing is that this phone is more reliable than my iPhone in unlocking my Tesla. And I kid you not, I have not had any fails where I've had to pull the phone out and activate the app to open my Tesla. I don't know why, maybe it's Bluetooth 5.0, but this thing is incredibly reliable, never an issue with my Tesla. iPhone all the time. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I always have to open my iPhone before the Tesla opens. First world problems, whatever, but it's a real problem for me and it's annoying. So that's why I love this thing.
Do Philip's camera test.
And my Tesla just crashed. Nice. We gotta reset it.
Wait, is that a thing?
Literally, look at the scan line.
Also the RAM, this thing obviously has more RAM, 8 gigabytes, up to 12 if you get the ceramic version. Apps stay open longer, like they're not constantly refreshing, so you save a little bit of time in little areas like that where an app that you haven't loaded in a very long time is still open in the background, so that's great. And a very interesting one is cell phone coverage. I live in an area where the cell phone reception isn't that great. Verizon here has 2 bars, but even so, this thing, the latency was much better. I was able to get more reliable service. I was able to use internet more reliably, where on the iPhone you have to wait. So the cell phone coverage on this definitely was better. If that's important for you, if you're in an area without a lot of it or with a very bad signal, definitely recommend the S10 for that. Like, that was one of its strengths for sure. And remember, this is the Exynos version. Snapdragon in America should do even better, theoretically. And I love the fact that Instagram stories are built into the camera. That is called capturing the young crowd. Take note, Apple. The night mode is cool, but that's weird. Once you have it, I found myself not using it at all. Like, it was strange. I'm sure I'd get into it more if I actually turned it on and used it, but I liked the white backgrounds on this phone more. It's weird. And I wanted to make a point about the Galaxy 10e. This is without a doubt a very good value. Compared to the iPhone 10R, you're getting so much for your money's worth. Like, without a doubt, this is a good phone. And that's coming from the bottom of my heart after testing them all out. You're getting your top dollars value with 10e. All right, enough praise. What did I hate? What's the reason that I switched back to the iPhone? And it's the little things. Like, for me, it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot to keep me on iPhone. It wouldn't take a lot to get me to Galaxy. You know, it's got all these crazy features. It's futuristic. But at its core, there's a few things that it doesn't do as good as the iPhone that caused me to go to the iPhone. Back to it anyways. Gestures. Like, the gestures just aren't as good as the iPhone. And I've tried some third-party apps. They don't work as good as stock. Like, I've tried the back swipe thing. It was fairly reliable, but the one time when it wouldn't work, it was really annoying. Like, sometimes it would freeze. I've tried several of them. Like, I've done the experimenting, guys. Don't doubt me on that. And really, stock is where it's at, but stock isn't that good compared to the iPhone. They could certainly work on that, I think. The speaker was just okay. Like, it wasn't bad by any means, but it's definitely not as good as the iPhone. I'll tell you that. Like, loudness-wise, just the bass that it produces, not as good, 100%. The stereo speakers on the iPhone are so good. Like, that's something you appreciate after stepping away for a little while. And here's something that I didn't think I would dislike, is the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. Now, this could be in part because of the absolute garbage screen protector that they included. It scratches, it bubbles. Like, this is the worst screen protector ever included with a phone. The fingerprint sensing for me is a hit and miss. Like, it works 95% of the time well, but the 5% of the time when I do miss the spot and have to rescan, it's fairly annoying. And I know over time you get used to it, but I don't know. Something doesn't sit right with me with the fingerprint sensor. It's great, it's fast and everything. I set up the fast unlock where it doesn't lock if you still have the phone on you, and I love that feature, by the way. I feel like with time they'll refine it with software updates, so this may not even be an issue in the future. Okay, and what is up with Instagram and Snapchat qualities being like really bad? When I post something, people are literally commenting, this was taken on an Android, wasn't it? Like, they automatically know it's grainy in the dark. The Instagram and Snapchat APIs are still garbage all these years later. Fix that. Also the keyboard. Like, something with the keyboard doesn't sit right with me. I constantly misspell things. I constantly have errors. And the edge display, like, I keep my finger right here usually, and it's a very hard habit to unlearn because it's always there on the iPhone. So I'm always tapping on things on accident. And it's a stupid thing, I know, like, laugh at me if you want, but over time it just added up, and I've made it a little bit better. I do it less now, and I'm sure with more usage it would happen less, but mistakes, misswipes, mistypings, they happen all the time on this phone, and that's something I guess with years of precision I've learned on the iPhone to do better. So maybe a non-issue. I don't know. It's just for me, it happened a lot. Also, the little things, like I wish it was a single tap to wake up. I don't know if that's a setting you can change. Let me know. I'm literally kind of stupid when it comes to Android in some ways, and I'm willing to admit that. So like, I'm not perfect. Don't take this as a perfect review. This is just my opinion after 9 days with this phone. Overall though, like overwhelmingly positive experience. Like I'm mostly going back for the fluidity, for the native connection to everything Mac, the stock notes application, Bear. I just miss those little things about the iPhone that made me so happy to stay. HomePods, I can use my HomePods now. My Apple Watch is not useless anymore. Like, finally. I don't know, like there's no way I can stay on Android. Realistically, with the lifestyle I built up, with all the products I bought, moving to Android is like throwing all that away. Like the HomePod becomes useless, basically. I need a separate device to use it. I just wanna say I'm departing from Android, but not because I have an innate hate for Android. I love Android, I love the Galaxy, I love what they've done with it. It just needs a little bit more refinement. And they're almost there, guys, they're almost there. I definitely will give it another chance in another update or when something notable happens, but as it sits right now, just the polish of the iPhone is what's pushing me back over here. And no hate to Samsung, I just want to say that. But it's a fantastic phone, guys. You will love it. If you were leaning towards it, there's no reason not to get it. Like, it's such a great phone. It's a great value. Like, there's nothing wrong with this phone. Don't get me wrong. Just want to say that's my opinion, guys. And you don't have to agree with it, but after a week or 9 days with this phone, those are the opinions I formed. So I hope you guys learned a thing or two from them. Let me know where I go wrong. I'm not perfect, obviously. Like, what did I say wrong? What did I do wrong? Leave it down below. I definitely will give this thing another chance just in a little while. I want to wait for some updates to come out. Some refinements. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for taking the time to sit here and listen to me talk about this new piece of tech because it truly is special to me. I love the innovation. I love this thing. I love not having a notch. Like, seriously, this is the coolest thing. It looks 3D, especially in the dark. And it's this awesome, like, I don't know, it's this 3D effect. Like, there's a depth to your display. There's more than meets the eye here. And I love it. Like, that innovation, the engineering. Samsung is definitely doing some amazing things here. This phone just feels like it was taken from 2025, really. So yeah, that's my opinion, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next one. Peace.